popular sentiment is that 2311 will be one of the people who get a charter. 2311 has 4 drivers under contract. And Daniel Suarez, who, oh, by the way, this week became a U.S. citizen.
You mean Trackhouse?
Yes. Trackhouse. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah,
Trackhouse.
I apologize. Daniel Suarez, who became a U.S. citizen this week. Congratulations, Daniel. Welcome. We appreciate that. Probably knows more U.S. history than most of us at this point in time. But Daniel, now a U.S. citizen. Daniel Suarez, Ross Chastain. They also have Shane van Gisbergen, who is in the Xfinity Series now, obviously, and Zane Smith, who is leashed out, so to speak, to Spire. Now, Spire is getting Michael McDowell, so somebody at Spire is going to have to be out. That would be Zane Smith. So now they could have 3 charters, 4 drivers. I would think Van Gisbergen's the guy I'd keep if I could only keep 3 of the 4. Where do you stand on that?
I agree with you. Shane van Gisbergen, especially with what he did on the road courses with back-to-back victories, is pretty impressive. He will admit, though, the ovals have been a challenge for him. And in the Cup Series, most of the schedule is on the ovals. But, as Jerry said, if we're going to have to dust off our passports for a couple international races, they're not going to be on ovals. They'll be on streets or road courses. So that might be something you consider with Shane van Gisbergen is like, hey, here's my ace in the hole to get a couple of victories here on some of these international races, which would only build Trackhouse's brand even further. I have a lot of respect and admiration for Justin Marks and the way he runs Trackhouse for the simple reason that he's already seen what is going to happen 2 years down the road, where a lot of people are still trying to keep up with what's going to happen next month.
Well, and then you flip over to Front Row. So Front Row's losing Michael McDowell. We know that. If they get a second charter, now they got 2 openings. So who's in line for those openings, Jerry?
Well, don't they still have Todd Gilliland?
Yeah, they still got Gilliland, but you got McDowell's leaving.
McDowell's gone.
And if they get a charter, that means 2 openings.
So you've got look at the roster of people. Noah Gragson might be a good fit over there. Young guys, young teams coming up. That could be a possibility. I think that if Junior's not going, I would think Noah would go back to Junior as well with Berry. But if that does happen, if Junior goes down that road, but I don't know who's going to. I still think there's a possibility that. Obviously Denny, I still think Denny gets another charter because he said he wanted one. But I still think there's a possibility that another team could come into the sport as well and kind of build their way into it from a startup.
Well, and there's one more team we haven't talked about, or one more seat we haven't talked about. A lot of feeling that Harrison Burton's going to be out at the Wood Brothers.
The Wood Brothers is also a mainstay team, and Ford, it's basically Edsel Ford's operation. He will do whatever he can to take care of that team. The Wood Brothers always, if Harrison Burton leaves, they're going to plug in a decent enough driver. It's got a little bit of potential and, to train them to go up to a bigger team down the road. So that's definitely a team that deserves to, take a good look at.
Would that be a team that you look at? Because as Bruce talked about with the Wood Brothers, Ford's going to help them out any way they can. They're obviously affiliated with Penske. Is that the kind of team you can see going out and getting that Rodney Childers, Josh Berry combination, just bringing them in whole as one?
I could see that. I could see because it's a Penske, satellite team. I could see Rodney Childers fitting in at Penske. I could see Josh Berry fitting in at Penske. I don't think I could see Noah Gragson fitting in at Penske. So if you're just cherry picking from the SHR camp, but what about the younger drivers that are out there that that they may there's several to choose from who has proven themselves and who has who hasn't proven themselves and maybe isn't worthy of a Cup Series ride in the charter. Maybe they go to a team without a charter, or they somebody makes a move from those teams that have proven themselves, or an Xfinity Series driver that's coming up. I think that we got to look at across the board about, and not just at who's here right now. I think there's some people that are in the pipeline for certain teams that we may be overlooking.
It's going to be crazy to see how this all plays out, and I don't anticipate it's going to play out and be done anytime soon.